we are in the presence of a celebrity right now. This is
We are.
She did the Super Bowl commercial with Bill Murray and Jeep.
That's it right there.
This is it. This is the one that started it all.
You planned that.
No, I didn't, but yeah, that's cool.
Could we be in line for something funny to come out of the mouth?
Just might happen. What a little cute.
She's the best.
Everyone deserves to feel their best. Everyone deserves to move their best and not have pain.
I'm a little upset that Ben got like 2 inches taller because he's already tall, dark, and handsome enough.
Culture is something we think about like all the time at Stroopy's. You know, we're all coming from different cultures.
Our comments have exploded through the roof. So there you go. All right, back for another show, Lancaster Connects. I'm gonna have a hard time looking at Ben. I got a crick in my neck today. I do. I can't.
You can't go right.
It's gonna hurt to go that way, so I'm not gonna try. Yeah.
Normally, it's me with the neck problems.
Yeah. No, it's
Look at me. I'll probably hurt myself doing this.
Yes. Yeah. Real good testament to our products here, right?
Yep.
Well, the issue was I was at my campsite cleaning out,
Mm-hmm.
the leaves and all the winter debris, and lots of raking actions going that way, and I think that's what did it.
That got your neck.
Yeah, for sure. So anyway, I'll be eyes on you, our guest and watcher this week.
For me, when I get neck pain, it's usually like I've attempted to put on a sock, or I've used a towel or something. I mean, something like normal.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then you can't move.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what happens. And when you have aches and pains, we can help you with those here at Gardner's Mattress and More. We're right here on 830 Plaza Boulevard here in Lancaster, beyond Parks City Mall. And we have a fine complement of pillows and adjustable bed bases and wonderful mattresses. We're actually in the midst of bringing on a bunch of new product. We're very excited about this.
It's like Christmas around here.
It is. It is. For like mattress folks, getting new product on the floor is like Christmas.
Boxes show up and it's like, what's this?
Yeah,
and you open it up.
Santa Claus down the chimney, the whole thing. Yep. So, but today is a fun day because it's Earth Day.
It is Earth Day.
And, we have a focus on doing our part here. We'll talk about that as we bring our guest on. But, one of the things that we do, I guess I should wait till we bring our guest on to talk about that. Yeah.
We could talk about our squirrels. They live on the earth.
Squirrels.
The squirrels that are named after?
Oh, yeah. Ben and Jeff the squirrels. Yeah. If you missed last week, Ben had to be away from the show.
Yep.
But he checked in and we got to unveil our squirrels. And Acorn Acres saves the little, what do we call them? Ground critters. Backyard ground critters.
Yeah.
Squirrels, rabbits.
Whistle pigs,
groundhogs, which are the same thing as a woodchuck.
Chipmunks, maybe?
Chipmunks, yeah. Those little woodland creatures. And I guess these two squirrels spoke to Betsy there at Acorn Acres. And Ben and Jeff
what they're doing today.
Yeah. Well, they're probably frolicking around. Just running around like crazy. So.
I thought about the squirrels this weekend because my backyard, I have a bunch of squirrels and there's chipmunks and there's ground creatures out there. And right outside my window on Sunday afternoon, I looked out, I was doing the dishes, and right there, like less than 7 feet from me, was a hawk perched on one of the patio furniture pieces.
Hopefully a hawk didn't get us this weekend.
So I think the hawk is back there probably for a reason. We've seen hawks back there, over the years. So, there's plenty of squirrels and chipmunks and whistle pigs and whatnot back there. But I saw the hawk and I'm thinking, oh boy,
yep,
that might, circle of life, I guess.
It is Hakuna Matata, right? Isn't that the way it goes? Circle of life.
That's right.
Right.
Did you just say?
I just did. It's like, best part of waking up, Folgers in your cup, right? Circle of life.
Yeah.
Hakuna Matata, the Lion King. That's what I'm going for.
Give us some Timon and Pumbaa here.
What was their catch lines? I know that whole song.
Hakuna Matata was
the song.
Yeah. Ain't no passing craze. Means no worries.
I don't.
The rest of your days.
Yeah, I don't remember the song. Maybe you should get it.
I just pleased all the Disney fans.
Yeah. Or maybe we should just bring on our guest. How
We
about
probably
that?
should bring on our guest. Yeah.
We'll just bring on our guest. So let's welcome Sallie Gregory.
Okay.
Let's welcome. Let's try this again. Live television cut. Let's welcome Sallie Gregory from Lancaster County Conservation District. Sallie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. Thank you so much for having me today.
You're welcome.
Glad you didn't leave from Jeff singing. You stuck
It
it
was
through.
very inspiring.
Was it? Very good. Very good. Well, we're starting at 3:00 today because you've had a busy day. It's Earth Day. So why don't you share with us some of the things you've already celebrated today and who you've helped educate about Earth Day?
Yeah, we've been teaching students throughout Lancaster County, and today there's a special focus. We're working with students that are having, for some of them, their first outdoor experience, their first field trip experience through school. And there's a new push within the state to have what's called a meaningful watershed educational experience. And that idea is that students recognize local issues and then go out and experience something within their watershed that might involve monitoring a stream, looking at what lives in a stream so that you can understand the health of that stream, and then bringing some of that data back to the classroom, studying a little bit further, and then trying to make an action plan of what they would like to do to change the future, to improve streams or waterways and things like that. So there's kind of a 4-step process with it, and it's hopefully giving students something that they can really feel committed to and an authentic experience that they can get involved in.
Now, what age kids did you have out today?
You were elementary, so anything between, I think they were between grades 3 and 6.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could, anything elementary, my wife would say, Jeff could go along because I'm just sometimes a child at heart. But I remember, though, like field trip days were always
That
fun.
was exciting.
Mhm.
You get on the bus, you might bring a sack lunch, and then you had the whole day. You didn't have to do the books or I guess today the laptops. So, yeah, were the kids excited, I guess?
Yeah, and that's the other twist behind these types of field trips. It's not just meant to be like a one-day experience that you're outside and that was the field trip and that's it, but trying to connect it to something that they started learning about in the classroom and then bringing that information back to the classroom. Hopefully they're having more of a takeaway from just that once and done kind of field trip.
Yeah, yeah.
What are some of the concerns with the particular waterway that you went to today with the children? Like what were they learning about?
Where did you go?
We're near Chickies Creek in Mannheim. We're looking at all different types of human impact on the stream, and that could involve things from what could leak from a car, like oil. How does that oil get into the stream? Salt runoff from our roadways, human impact with different activities like construction or farming that wouldn't involve a best management practice to keep the soil on the ground. So soil getting into a stream. When we look for those things, then we can recognize, well, what are some things that we could do to change that? Some things a student could impact, but others they might recognize these are changes that adults are thinking about and need to do, just so that they're aware of how we as humans impact that stream, because that one stream is going to connect with a larger body of water. And if we put pollution in it here, it's going to continue into larger watersheds, which we are part of through the connections with watersheds. So Chickies Creek will eventually get into the Conestoga River, to the Susquehanna River, to the Chesapeake Bay, and the Atlantic Ocean.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty neat how you get the kids out. I mean, I would imagine it probably sparks lights a fire for some kids. Have
Yes.
you had, how long, and I guess we should ask, how long have you been in your role there with the Conservation District?
23 years. So,
Okay.
yeah, I really enjoy it. Yeah, you're showing some parts of what we call our Lancaster watersheds.org. That's part of our website. We have 5 different departments now within the Conservation District. Agriculture includes agriculture technicians and engineers who are working with farmers to develop a plan for how they're going to take care of the soil that they use as a natural resource. Our erosion and sedimentation department works with engineers, planners, and designers so that any kind of development plan for over an acre, those plans come into our office and they are reviewed for how is water going to be cared for and the soil going to be cared for during construction so that we don't have soil loss into our streams and creeks. Our watershed department works on restoration projects throughout Lancaster County, works with homeowners as well as working with watershed organizations, which is made up of local volunteers who are working to maintain stream health or improve stream health in their local watersheds. And our newest department is data and analysis, DNA. They take the data that our watersheds are sharing to improve the water quality, and we're sharing that with the public through our website, and also looking at the different conservation practices that farmers are putting in place to maintain soils. They are going out to check if those conservation practices are doing what they are intended to do. And some of those examples would be no-till farming, when you're not turning the soil over, but you're planting into existing plants, or looking at a manure storage unit. Manure that's stored is something that you can use in the future. I know you probably didn't think we were going to discuss that today, but we definitely want to make sure that that's there, and so that we don't have a runoff event. And then there's the education department. I work with teachers throughout Lancaster County addressing our state standards for environment and ecology. And in 2025, we're going to have brand new standards that will address science and technology, engineering, and the environmental literacy that we've been working on.
Very good. So in your time, you said 23 years, I think I heard, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So in your time getting these young learners out, have you seen a kid that maybe came out in grade 3 and maybe came back out in grade 5, and something hit a spark, and then they made a career out of what you do? Have you seen anything like that? Any success stories that way?
Yes. You're showing some pictures there of some of them. The top picture is of we have students that attend our conservation school, which I'm very excited to talk about. But that's a really in-depth opportunity for students to learn more about careers in natural resources. And then we can run into them or meet up with them in a few years in the future. They might have gone on to college to study something relating to that, and now they are working for an environmental excavating company or a state forester, all different kinds of jobs. So yeah, it's really inspiring to catch up with students that had a spark, when they were younger, to go into a field that relates to natural resources.
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, we had limited field trips. This one time we went to a furniture store, and so here I am today. No. Just kidding.
It made an impact.
Just kidding.
Sallie, I'd like to know more about the Lancaster County Conservation District, how it got started, why it got started, and maybe just a little bit of an overview of some of the types of things that you do beyond some of the things that you mentioned already.
Sure. It started with an idea from an early conservationist. His name was Robert Maurer. He was dedicated to helping here in Lancaster County with all different types of service organizations. And he had the idea because he lived through the Depression and he knew what the CCC was. I'm not sure if you guys have ever heard of that before, the Civilian
No.
Conservation Corps.
Okay.
Coming out of the Depression, there was an opportunity for boys who were 15 years and older to dedicate their time to help with planting trees and building a lot of structures within our state parks throughout the entire nation. But Pennsylvania really benefited from that as well. And they would keep some of the money that they earned, but most of it went back to their families. And Robert Maurer's idea was to create a school that would have some elements of that so that people today could learn more and have an appreciation for our natural resources because he knew, just like in the, if I can quote the Lorax book for a moment, he knew that unless somebody cares a whole awful lot, things are not going to change. And so he didn't want to see things continue as they were. And he put together an idea that had 3 different connections to it. So he needed somebody who would be the instructors and kind of like the counselors. And so he looked at the different agriculture teachers in Lancaster County as the first instructors for the school. And then he approached the Conservation District to be the overall group that would handle logistics and be the facilitator. And then he approached sportsmen's clubs throughout Lancaster County to provide the sponsorships or tuitions. His goal was that any student in Lancaster County should be able to attend and not have a restriction due to financial restrictions. So the program was designed for students who are 14 to 16 years old, and that still is a part of it today. Today, we still do have one of the original counselors. She is the co-director of the school with me, Sonia Wasco. And our counselors, though, are all students who are all people who were students of the school in the past. And so they know what the goal of the program is, and they dedicate that week to come back. And some are just out of high school, and others have been with the program, for the last 20 years. And then the sportsmen's clubs, and we have other community organizations who now also will sponsor students to attend and pay the tuition, so that for that 6 days overnight experience, any student who's 14 to 16 in Lancaster County can attend for just $25.
Love it. It's I'm glad you brought up the sportsmen's clubs, because I've had people, I like to hunt. And I've had people over the years kind of look at you a little differently when you say you care about the environment, but you're also a hunter. And there's, like any group of people, there are bad apples, bad operators in any population of people. But a lot of the outdoorsmen and hunters and people that belong to sportsmen's clubs that I know are very concerned about the environment. They want to see natural habitats exist and flourish. Case in point, I'll leave them nameless, but our neighbor here beside the store a couple of weeks back, I had to go over and have a conversation because for weeks and weeks and weeks, their cardboard and trash was blowing all over the back of the parking lots. And our store goes up against the Amtrak train tracks, and there's a bunch of woods. And, it just, all that trash just collects in the woods, yeah. And it just makes a mess. And, I hadn't seen as many deer here in the spring, and I hadn't seen as many in the fall. And this has been a long persisting problem. And so I had to just point out, like, hey, your corporate guidance says you care about the environment, but your actions are another. And these things matter, right? I think you quoted the Lorax book, something to that effect. Like, we all have to speak up, and we all have to play our part. And I love that you're teaching the young kids and the teenagers through the school, or I'm sorry, what do we call it? Youth education camp.
Yeah, it is. We do refer to it as a school because it is rather intense. And I could say that also, that it is intense in two different ways. We live intense for the whole week, but it is intense as well, because we start each day with the students helping to make the meals, and that starts at 7:30, and we go through, our last session doesn't end till 9:30 each night. So we try and cram that week full, but we really appreciate that the students, by the end of the week, really appreciate it too. They take away so much. And yes, just to mention, as you were talking about the sportsmen, they are truly dedicated, especially here in Lancaster County. People may not know how much land they are managing and taking care of. We have, I believe, over 13 different sportsmen's clubs in Lancaster County who are, giving space for different types of habitats to bring in, whether it's deer or rabbits or all different types of wildlife. And a shout out to Northern Lancaster, that the Sportsman's Club shuts down their grounds for the week and allows us to set up big canvas tents and kind of take over so that we can have the school there at Northern Lancaster Game and Fish Protective Association. And they have been doing that since the early 1980s. The school originally they originally started at Camp Mac, and then Northern Lancaster was willing to have us there. And so, yeah, we really appreciate that. It's over 180 acres for us to use throughout the week.
And your school, I saw enrollment is open till June 7th or until full. So is there still open enrollment available?
Yes. And we're hoping to fill the class. We can usually take somewhere between 25 to 28 students, and that kind of keeps it like an actual classroom, so that the students can have more one-to-one learning and really be able to take it all in. And I should say, it's a good week for high school students too. Since cell phones became a part of the world, we are still under the guidelines that we don't have cell phones for the week for the students. So sometimes students will say, oh, that's going to be tough to give it up. But then by the end of the week, it's a great feeling when you hear them say, I didn't really miss it, or I think I could go another day without it. So we ask that so that they can really absorb and take in all of the different experiences.
Yeah, because you could quite literally miss something pretty special with wildlife. Something pretty special that's happening on the land while you're just doom scrolling Facebook or Instagram or I guess the kids aren't doing Facebook. That's what mom and dad do. They're doing Snapchat and TikTok. That's it. That's it. Yeah.
So Sallie, what are some of the things that the students are going to take home with them from the school? Like, what are they going to learn, and what is your hope that they take away from the week spent with you?
Sure. Well, seeing that picture that's up there, you can see the tent, that structure that we stay in. And I'm sorry to say that we're not going to have a mattress in there, but we do have really nice Cabela's cots. Unless you guys can come up with a mattress that we could maybe.
Yeah, look, they can. The kids can harden up a little bit. It's all right. One week won't hurt them.
But we do work on some interesting projects. We have a study focus that changes each year, and we try and look at something that is within the maybe it's something that's happening in Lancaster County or an issue that we could focus on. For example, we try and look at situations from all sides, like land use. Quite a while ago, there was land that was being developed for being paved for an auto auction site, and we kind of looked at what would be that impact over time, and we looked at all the different perspectives. We looked at Marcellus shale drilling when that first began from a family's perspective that was having the opportunity to have a well put on their property, and what would be some of the concerns. So we try and tackle some big questions or introduce students to those, so that they can maybe for the first time talk about their opinions or how to form an opinion and how to structure a conversation so that they can express opinions, but they may not agree with everybody that's sitting at the table. We also then give them some hands-on experiences. You've gone through some of the slides there, and one of them is showing a student using a sledgehammer, and I
wanted to ask about that. Yeah.
That's part of our stream restoration project. So we worked with the Fish and Boat Commission to look at a stretch of stream to see how could we hold the stream bank where the soil is in place better. It was more of a cliff bank, but we wanted to create a gradual slope so that water can naturally get out for flooding and then come back into the stream. And the students are actually installing what's called a mud sill so that it will be habitat. We structure a couple logs on top of each other, and then underneath it, that's where the fish will have habitat. We've also put in log deflectors, which if you've ever played the game Plinko and you've watched how the big piece goes down to the bottom of the board, when we put in log deflectors along the side of a stream, we put in kind of a V shape so that water can hit one side and not pull away from the stream bank and create that cliff-like effect. But it naturally then can kind of hit both sides of the stream and make its way downstream. Also placing rocks in the stream at certain locations so that it's kind of like a chessboard. As high flow rates hit that area, then it can bounce off and move to another section of the stream. And I thank the Flyway Excavating. They've been wonderful, not only volunteers, but also to provide the materials that we need, the rock, the rebar, the logs, so that we can work on that project. And we really try and make it as hands-on as possible. Technically, that kind of a project could be done with large equipment, but by having the students place rock or use the sledgehammer to put the rebar in, they really get to be a part of making something that they can then come back to that section of stream, during fishing season and see how it's being used. And it's nice to bump into students that you say, hey, how are you doing? He's like, I was just out on that section of creek and I got to see, the grass is grown in over where we were working.
Yeah,
it's
that's
really
cool.
Inspiring.
Yeah. Have you, I commented specifically on the young lady using the sledgehammer. Have you seen any of the students who come to the summer school say at first, I can't do that. I'm and then you see them break through. Mm-hmm. What's that like to see happen?
That's really inspiring because it usually happens with a lot of our volunteer staff who are there to help guide, but they're not pushing. They're not saying, you have to do this. Instead, it's, I'm going to be right here with you. I'm going to be standing over here, or let me help you with this. And we have a lot more students coming into the program that have never experienced fishing, hunting, or just being away from home, or just being outdoors for 5 days at a time. So having that background as counselors and volunteers is really important because they're there to support the the students to help them see that they will be able to try it, and nobody's going to judge, nobody's going to give them a score or a grade. We just want them to experience it. That picture, last year we went up to Limestone Springs. I don't know if you guys have heard of that place. They raise trout that sold. If you bought a fish sandwich, say at the farm show, they raised that trout. It's also sold to restaurants and markets, but it allowed students to go fishing, and everything that we caught, we ate for our fish fry that night, and then they learned the process of how to fillet fish as well.
I love it.
I'm sure for some that's an interesting experience.
Yes.
For the first time. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, what a way to, push yourself out of a comfort zone and learn. I think education right now, and you've been in education for 23 years, if I understood you correctly. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
And so I think education, the bedrock is kind of shifting a little bit under our feet with technology, with the way our current crop of students are learning, what opportunities lie ahead for them. And my personal belief is that we're getting too far away from what you offer. Like you said, there's no grade, it's experience.
Right.
We can figure out the technology if we have the critical thinking skills, which are important to build as you learn and grow up. We have technology to help communicate out what we learn and what we experience and what we see. But if we take away the human interaction, the technology is almost meaningless, right? That's the way I feel about it. Like seeing a fish reeled in, baiting it, filleting it, seeing how they grow at Limestone. Like I think all that's so important. So I love everything you're doing there.
And it's definitely changing, from when I first started to today, because I think so many people are on technology. Just the skill of communicating and talking is something that we often see. Students come in on Sunday and everybody's a little nervous because you may know nobody else in the class and you have to be brave to be there. We always appreciate that. And we have a new class every year, so students aren't repeating the opportunity. And it's always amazing. On Sunday, it's very quiet. And by Friday night, it's, I'm not ready to go home, and you've made a ton of new friends and really enjoyed the experience.
Yeah, that is very, very, very cool.
I love that it's like problem solving.
Yes.
In nature, and there's not really like a right or wrong answer, but you're figuring it out together how to improve something. And that's great life skills for these kids to have.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, and every day kind of focuses on a different aspect of a natural resource. The day that we're working on the stream, that is all about water. So we're also going to do a canoe trip this year. And we also have Pennsylvania Fish and Boat Commission Waterways Conservation Officer, and he will go over what's involved with a boat inspection. So we might have a student down the road that is interested in working within the field of criminal justice, but maybe they don't want to be a police officer, but they also want to blend some natural resource background and be an officer for waterways. We spend another day on wildlife management with the Game Commission. Our field trip day focuses on our study focus for the week, and we also have a day about survival and orienteering. And to say the word orienteering today, a lot of times students haven't had that experience because GPS tells you where you're going, but to understand how a compass works, how to read topographic maps, it's all something that they can come back to, even perhaps in a class in school later on.
They could be Bear Grylls for a day.
Well, I actually just used my compass back in November, or I guess it was early November. I was scouting some places to hunt on state game land in northern, I guess it was southern Schuylkill County, actually. And I got turned around, and I have a Garmin GPS that I take with me. It's got the SOS button. So if I get in trouble, like fall and break my leg, which if you know me is not out of the realm of possibility. If my wife were listening, she'd say, yeah, I'm glad you have that. I can text message with this device because I have the subscription. And of course it does the GPS, and all of that's fantastic until it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized,
I'm pleased that you could share that story.
yeah. And so I realized how reliant I was. And I knew we're all reliant on these technologies, right? Well, I get out and I'm turned around and I get this out and I realize I forgot to charge it.
Oh, no, yeah.
But I had in my backpack, I had my compass, and I knew where I was, and I knew the direction, and I was able to work through it. But yeah, I mean, if you're not paying attention to your surroundings, you can get in trouble pretty quickly. So that's really cool that you're teaching the kids that orienteering aspect of things.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Sallie, I was just thinking maybe switching away from the school a little bit, just the conservation district in general. What goals do you have for this year and beyond in Lancaster County?
It's great that you asked that, because that was just something that we were talking about with our board. We're definitely looking at our communications and getting out with meeting with some groups that we already work with and some new groups that we haven't worked with. And so it's always good to let others know what we do. And thank you. This is a great opportunity today to share that. And working with some of our partnering organizations, just working with municipalities and helping them to know what they need to provide to us and what we can provide to them. That's one goal that we hope to accomplish this year, just as a reminder for all municipalities how the Conservation District can be a resource for them. So communications is actually our big goal for this year, to improve our communications through some of our partners that we work with and some new partnering organizations.
Yeah, if people don't know who you are and how you can help, it could be greeted as an obstacle. It could be greeted as, I didn't even know, and I wish we did know, right?
Right, exactly. And we are going to celebrate our 75th anniversary for the Conservation District next year. So we definitely want to get the word out. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we have any plans to not be doing the show next year, so we could possibly have you back on for Earth Day 2025. I just think about that. For the 75th anniversary of the Conservation District.
That would be great.
That's very neat. That's very neat. So people go to this site, lancasterconservation.org. We didn't mention how, if you're a parent and you want to sign your learner, your student up for the summer camp, for summer school, can they find the button there on lancasterconservation.org, or is there a better place for them to go directly?
Nope. On our website, it's on the homepage, and then you're also showing the conservation school page right now, and that's under the education tab, and the application is there. They can fill it out online, and yes, we hope to fill it up by June 7th. That just gives us an opportunity to get all the paperwork filed for medical forms and all that kind of stuff ahead of time, and to make sure that we have enough supplies for the entire class.
And I don't think it needs to be said, but I'll say it. I would imagine all of your counselors are vetted. They go through all their background checks, just as your child's teacher or your kid's daycare provider would, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah. For anybody listening, I thought maybe I'll just share that in case you were wondering, since it hadn't been said. And what is the fee for people to attend?
So it's $25 for the registration fee once they're accepted. The remaining tuition is paid for through the sportsmen's clubs and our different organizations. For example, we have a new group started last year, and that's the Solanco Education Foundation for Solanco School District is willing to sponsor 4 students. So if there are any students in the Solanco area, they are ready to help sponsor the students. And then we have sportsmen's clubs throughout Lancaster County that are willing to sponsor students. Doesn't matter what school district they're in, throughout Lancaster.
Sure. And if as a parent you're watching this, you're picking this up, you want your child to go, your child's loving it, but that $25 just isn't there. Is there something that can be done about that?
Yes, just reach out. The contact information is on the website there, and we can look at helping to sponsor those students. That's definitely possible.
That's great. And that $25, that covers their food and obviously their stay in the tent and everything, right?
Yes. So I should say we thank a lot of generous donors, corporate donations. We have grants and we have individual donors. We are part of the Extra Give each year, so that's really helped as well. But yeah, we have many donations that are part of the program, and we're grateful for that.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad you brought the Extra Give up. How can the folks of Lancaster County support? How can they get involved? What would you say to people to support the Conservation District?
We have a 501c3 called the Conservation Foundation of Lancaster County that supports programs within the Conservation District. And we do have a tab on our website. And then again, at the time in November for Extra Give, if you look for Conservation Foundation, you'll see we'll have a whole description of what it supports on behalf of the Conservation School.
That's great.
Fantastic. So financial donations are always welcome. You know, we talk here often about time, treasure, and talent. And so treasure would be the donation, which you're always welcome. And you can go right to the site. The Conservation District's a 501c3, so it's a write-off for you. Not tax advice, but it is a donation. The talent thing you said about communications, you really want to get the word out there. So if somebody is like, that's their thing, they're into PR, they're into, getting things out on social media, they're into bringing people together of like mind. Do you take volunteers? Do you take in people to give advice for stuff like that if they're willing to volunteer those talents?
Yes. Yeah, we haven't done that yet. So sure, that you can give a call to our office and that would be great.
Fantastic. And then, we find a lot of folks that we talk to here on the show, a lot of the charities, money is always welcome, but they also need volunteers to affect the mission, right? You can take all the money in, Off the Streets is a great homelessness charity we support here. If they don't have people to help move in, they can't get people into the apartments and they can't get people into the homes. Is there a need for hands-on labor to help, like those volunteer hours?
Yes, if you check out the lancasterwatersheds.org, that's a tab on our website, we list every time we do a tree planting, and that would involve as many volunteers as we can find, because we're sometimes planting anywhere from 500 to 900 different trees to make what's called a riparian buffer. These are just little seedlings, so it's just a matter of, kind of breaking the ground open enough to stick the small roots in there. But we do those plantings throughout the year to put in what's called a riparian buffer. Riparian means near water, and the buffer is the idea of kind of reforesting along the stream, just as it would have been back in the time of William Penn, so that the trees actually help to keep out some of those potential forms of pollution.
Interesting.
Very good. Very good. I think people can see, you don't have to go out into the woods so much to see some of what is so important in what you do. Right now, locally here, we've got that 222 Route 30 construction that's going on. And you've got, I noticed coming into the store here from my home on 222, heading south on the right, they built a retention pond, it looks like. They fill those black cylinders up that keep debris out of certain areas. So this stuff is all around us. And if you're connected to it, if you like it and you wonder what's going on, you can get your hands dirty and volunteer to plant some trees. to keep some of that pollution out at those barriers. If you have talents of getting the word out, and conservation is after your heart or part of your heart, and you feel connected to it, please reach out, lancasterconservation.org. And if you can donate, I mean, they'll put the money to good use, whether it's through the summer camp, summer education camp, or other projects. They'll put your money to good use, right?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. It's
Yeah.
definitely, education is always something that it's hard to fund with grants and things like that, because you don't often see the finished product until years later when a student or a teacher or something like that, you know, they're changing their thought process or they've made an action. So in terms of grants, sometimes it's challenging to find those types of supports. So we welcome any donations.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Fantastic. Sallie, thank you for joining us on your busy Earth Day. This is like your big day. The mattress guys here, we have like Memorial Day and Labor Day. That's our big day, right? But for you, this is Earth Day. And thank you for taking the time out to share what you do at the Conservation District and how you're helping all those kids, both in elementary school for field trips and the teenagers there to come out for the summer camp, summer education, and learn about what you do with the Conservation District. Thank you for being a part of the community.
Well, thank you. I really enjoyed meeting you both, and I really am grateful for the opportunity to talk about the Conservation School and the Conservation District today. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
You're
Hey, we're not done with you yet, Sallie. We've got our connection cocktail. Get to know you a little bit better and things you like to do or things you appreciate about Lancaster. So our first question, this is a big one. If you could be granted one wish, like let's say you had a genie in a bottle and you had one wish, what would it be? That's a big
good
one.
one. Yeah. Well, speaking of Conservation School, if we could fill the class this year, that would be my ultimate wish for 2024. If we could instantly do that, I would be very, very happy.
And full classes for
Yes.
perpetuity.
Yeah, that would make it so easy. I love it. Let's go with that.
Great. Good answer.
Very good. So what is your favorite hobby or pastime to enjoy here in Lancaster?
Well, there's great shopping. There's great food. There's wonderful hiking and walking trails. There's great rails to trails. We are so blessed. I think there's some connection that Pennsylvania, you are always within 25 minutes of a park or path, that we were one of the first states to consider, saving space for everybody to enjoy. And I really appreciate that you can pretty much go into any community in Lancaster County and find a spot to enjoy the outdoors.
That's really interesting.
That's interesting. So anybody listening and watching, put that to the test.
Yeah, if I'm wrong, please write in. I think I did read that somewhere.
And then we'll talk to Sallie and all of her friends at Conservation District, and we'll try to see if they can affect projects to bring that back.
Yes.
Get you close to water or a trail or the forest or something. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Last question, Sallie. Do you have any travel plans this year?
I don't. Sorry. That's I'm going to be. I enjoy traveling throughout Lancaster County, but I don't have any big travel plans yet.
Yeah. Or maybe that's right. Or maybe any place that you've traveled to that you've really enjoyed.
I got to go to England and see some of their natural spaces, and that was really amazing to see some things that are contrasted, but some of the similarities too.
Yeah, such a beautiful countryside over there.
Yeah. Sallie, thank you. Thank you for taking the time out today. Enjoy the rest of your Earth Day. We appreciate you. Yeah, appreciate all you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks again. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Very cool. I like hearing about things like that for our kids.
Yeah.
So let's help Sallie out. LancasterConservation.org. There's the Youth Summer School. I think I'm saying that. Youth Conservation School.
Yep.
Let's help them fill that up. It's a great summer camp, right? Parents are seemingly always looking to get their kids into various camps and various experiences over the summer. I believe I saw it's late July. Details lancasterconservation.org/youth-conservation-school is the direct site, but you could go to lancasterconservation.org. Check that out. I believe it's at the end of July, kind of right in that sweet spot where those early summer vacations are out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
The late ones haven't happened yet. Your kids getting a little antsy. Send them in a tent, and they'll have a good time.
It's probably the sort of place where like kids might not be excited to go to, especially when they consider that they have to put the device away. Yeah. But yeah, by the middle of the week to the end of the week, they don't want to go home. Right.
That was awesome.
Right. Like they would never have thought that sort of thing would be so cool and so much fun. And of course, the learning and the experience with other people that are doing the same thing as them. Right. Yeah. So it's cool.
I wasn't going to put Sallie through it, but I'll put you through it, and I'll put my co-host through it. So I had a joke related to she said that summer conservation camp in school is it's intense and it's intense.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so that reminded me of a joke that this guy, he's freaked out, he's stressed out, he goes into his counselor, he says, I'm a teepee, I'm a wigwam, I'm a teepee, I'm a wigwam. And his doctor says, calm down, you're too tense.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's
good.
So. That's a good dad joke.
It is a good dad joke.
Good dad joke.
And so anyway, you can give your kid the opportunity to have all kinds of those fun, G-rated, family-friendly jokes when they get to camp, because those kinds of things happen too.
That's right.
There's a lot of cool stuff that happens around campfires, and I'm positive they've got those.
And it's $25. Like kids eat $25 worth of food in a day, right?
Yeah,
that $25 covers food for a week.
Yeah, it's actually like
cheaper than having your kid at home.
If you were on the frugal financial plan at home, send one of them away for the week, and you made bank.
Yeah, right.
Plus, they learn something.
That's right.
Actually, and you might just spark that thing for them that turns them on to a new career, a new way that they can be additive to our community and our world, which would be really cool.
Yeah.
So those are the kinds of things that happen there. My sleep better tip for you is you're going to see coming up here in the weeks ahead, we have 4 boxes of new information, all about this journey of buying a mattress. That's the thing we hear constantly. This is so confusing. There's so much to look at. There's so much to consider. So my sleep better tip for you is really consider where you get information from. And most importantly, who is the producer of that information and to what end? There's a thing that's been going on for the last number of years in the industry, in the sleep industry, mattress industry, of review sites and best of lists, all these things. And what happens is it's all orchestrated and schemed to position top brands at the top of the list, but the person producing that information directly benefits when you click the link and you buy a mattress online or you're referred elsewhere. We just don't believe in that. It's not really something we do. It's why we wrote the book Sleep Better. So we'll mail you a copy and put that information to the test. If you feel we've misled you, let us know. I don't think you will. It's great information. And in the upcoming weeks, we'll be talking about our Sleep Better Pocket Guide series of how to buy the perfect mattress, the adjustable bed base, set of sheets, and pillows. And maybe down the road, we'll have more titles to release. But for now, we thought 4 was a good place to start. And we're excited to get those out. So in the meantime, you can get the book. Go to gardenersmattressandmore.com/sleep-better, and we'll get you that book.
Very good. Very good.
Well, they're all good. I'm not gonna give the people a bad one.
Right. It's all gold, Jerry.
It's all gold, baby.
Testimonial time. Got a handwritten testimonial here from a customer named Wanda. She purchased a mattress from Gardener's Mattress and More within the last couple weeks. She says about her overall experience about Gardeners from the time. Oh gosh, I should have my glasses. I forgot my glasses here. From the time I walked in until my mattress was delivered, I couldn't have been more pleased. And not only Drew was great, but the 2 delivery guys were kind, considerate, and all around greats. I have already recommended gardeners to friends. Boy, my eyes have gotten really bad.
Eyes are about as bad as my neck today.
I guess so. Yeah, I'm over here, Jeff. Thank you, Wanda. Thanks for the kind words. Thank you to the team. Do a fantastic job. And I just love when people say from the moment they walked in the door to the moment we walked out their home door, right, that the experience was great. And there's actually a lot of interactions, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's, pulling into the parking lot, it's coming in the door, it's greeted, the whole experience working with our sales team, the experience at the desk, communicating delivery.
Yep.
It's, there's a lot of touch points really that are involved in our customer journeys. And I love when it's, she has that sort of experience.
It is. Yeah. I mean, look, we look to overmanage those experiences, not micromanage them, because we have an immense amount of trust in our team, but we always set those guideposts so you have a great experience. We protect our reputation because it means a lot. We're the people in charge of it. It's a fiber of our being, if you will, to have the reputation that we have. And so every interaction, we guard it and make sure it's the best. You do this a handful of times in your life. We do this multiple times every day. And we want to make sure you get the best experience. So that testimonial speaks to that. Where you get your information. My Sleep Better tip today spoke to that. It's what we're all about. And so we'd love to help you out if it is time to invest in a new mattress here at Gardner's Mattress & More. We'd love to be able to help you do that. We are wrapping up our spring clearance event. That was a tongue twister for me. Spring clearance event. I don't know why, but it was. But you get, there's still some really great discounts and deals. So if you got a guest bed, if you need a king bed for yourself, you're going to get a wonderful luxury quality mattress at a discount price. So
some Tempur-Pedics.
Yeah, we have some of those, some less snore, more cuddle systems. So reach out with your needs and we'll connect you with the team and get you fit for the right mattress and the right deal. There we go. Yeah, that number's dwindled quite a bit, but it's still up there and we still have some things to go. So we'd love to help you. I think that's the show.
Thank you, May, for pulling up our site there.
Yeah, we had, our amazing podcast producer, Chris, has a team, and his team is good. He's just as good as Chris. We'll have to let him know that.
We voted, and
we fired
our
Chris
favorite producer. And I don't know if we should publicly announce the result of the vote.
Yeah,
but
you're fired. You're fired.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Is it that one?
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, thank you, Lancaster. We'll see you next week on Lancaster Connects. Take care.